So, brothers, I watched this video at least I watched it twice before I said I was going to speak on it. And I wanted to see other people's reaction to the video. And I just so happened, I said, I'm going to watch two women react to the video. One was they had their opinion, both of them had their opinions about it, but one was for it and one was against the video. And I didn't see any men s- react to this video. So I thought I'd be one of the men. If I'm sure there's probably some men that have reacted to it. I just haven't seen any men react to this video, at least not on YouTube. So I wanted to be one of the men to react to this video because a lot of these, I don't know why women think that just because they're quote unquote successful or that they make a certain amount of money that they that men are intimidated by them. I don't know why. I don't know where they get that from. And because the reason why I watched this, the reason why I wanted to pick this video is because it just goes to show you that a lot of women, they don't really look at stats. They kind of cherry pick stats to fit their narrative. That's all they do. They don't go by the whole fact. They just cherry pick certain things and then think that what they're saying is 100. It's facts, and it's not. Men have always been the same. They've always been protectors. They've always either they've been that or they've wanted to be protectors and providers. And there's another one too. But and they've always wanted to procreate. Those are the three things that men mostly do: protect, provide, and procreate. The three P's. And I'm gonna go ahead and get into the video and I'll be chiming in throughout the video. So, because I don't want to do too much talking. So let's go ahead and get into this.
Conversation, our candid conversation, came from something that I read in the New York Times, and it stopped me on my tracks because it related to me in so many ways and so many women in our audience. I've been looking forward to diving into this next conversation with you all. So this story, a lot of people are talking about it. You might have even seen it on your social media feed. It has the information that a report that started out a controversial conversation. Single women own and occupy more homes than single men in the United States. Okay, you read that, you think, all right, right?
Now, as you can see, it's a bunch of women, and I'm sure not all of them own a home, but it's a bunch of single women over here clapping like they accomplished something. Like, and I've already said this already. The American woman, and I'm not saying all, but I'll say most are not raised to be mothers and they're not raised to be wives. They are raised to compete with you men. So keep that in mind because she said that most of the single women own a home and whatever else. So they're competing with you, brothers. That's exactly what she's doing. Let's continue.
Shout out to the single women in our audience who clearly own their own homes. So that was according to a new study from the latest U.S. Census. And home ownership is not only the only area where women are seemingly overtaking men. When it comes to education, women make up 60% of college enrollments and over half of the workforce with university degrees. And with women more self-sufficient and financially successful than ever before, here's the controversial part. It makes it hard to date, according to the article. I know, I was 500 when I got married. So I've seen it referred to as a dating imbalance because women say they're struggling to find partners that match up with their achievements in education, finances, and life experiences. Our next
Brothers, no woman is ever going to find a match. I don't believe that they're ever going to find an exact match to their mate. Men, most men, once they get out the home, or I mean, once they leave their parents' home, they're ready to work. So you don't have a lot of men that are going to college. I think the average man, I think it's 7 to 1, like 7 women to 1 man in these colleges. I believe, and I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. But there are more women in college than men. Most men are either going to go straight to the workforce, probably work a factory job, or they're going to go into a technical skill and go that way, because men really don't want to be spending thousands of dollars in a university when they can go and probably spend probably $4 to $5,000 just to get a technical skill. They can go, go learn to be a plumber. They can learn to be a barber, a mechanic, those type of things, a carpenter, and they could actually create a business off of that. So I don't understand why. And again, what as as we get further along, all you're going to hear is a competitive. You're going to hear competitive women because they're trying to compete with you, brothers. They when they use the word match, they're not saying love. They're not looking for love. They're looking to match you. They can't find a person that is educated as they are. Oh, well, he doesn't have a bachelor's degree, so we don't click. He doesn't make $100,000 like I do, so we don't click. None of it says love. None of it. So just keep that in mind, brothers.
Next guests are some of the women who say they can relate to it. Tech marketer Renee Bruner just bought her very own home at age 30. Not only did she buy the home, she's doing a gut renovation of the entire place by herself. Content strategist Tamer Nisbeth also recently became a first-time home buyer after pooling her resources to purchase an apartment here in New York City, and that is not easy. And Adriana Herrera is an entrepreneur and founder of a successful tech startup. All three women say they're experiencing these challenges in their dating life, and they're here to talk with us about this conversation inspired by what I read. Tamer, Renee, Adriana, thank you so much for joining us. Listen. First of all, I've got to commend you on coming on and being open about this, because I totally, my girlfriends and I, we couldn't stop talking about this because it's so real, but it's not talked about often. Renee, you had this big experience. You got the home in Austin. You bought it. When you opened the key of your home that you own for the first time, what was that feeling like?
Yeah, overwhelming, but so satisfying. It was a dream I've had forever, to own my own home and to walk in and be able to just put my hands in it and start making it my own.
Right, because when I have those moments, as you know, when I was not married, I'd be like, I did that. Mm-hmm. So you're in there, I did that moment, and then when does it occur to you that doing that might be intimidating to a man?
I don't. What isn't? Let's first of all, nobody knows you. So why would we be intimidated because you bought your own home? And let's just say that the man has his own home. So again, this is a competition thing. It's not a I'm trying to find love. All this is, brothers, is a competition thing. That's it. Let's continue.
Even before I bought my home, I think there's always been an unspoken stigma of, like, if you are a single woman buying a home by yourself, then it's almost like you're giving up on finding a man and having a family. Versus if you're a single man doing the same thing, it's like you're preparing yourself to be more desirable and setting yourself up to have a family. And that's always been a strange thing for me. And so I waited for a while trying to find the right person. And then I decided I'm going to live the life I want now.
And that's what all three of you've done, which is what the article talked about. Adriana, with all of the things you've accomplished in the tech world, you describe yourself as a whole, fulfilled, happy woman, like an amazing cake looking for the frosting. Yeah. I love that quote. I love that quote.
So, brothers, I want y'all to listen closely to her story of the past guy that she dated. She's going to talk about that. And you're going to hear what most men want from a woman, but she denied it. But let's continue.
But if we're going to keep the symbolism here, finding the frosting has been hard.
It has.
Was that surprising to you? Because one would think, this would make a woman more desirable. And for perspective, in the 70s, women could not even have a bank account without men signing on. So that's how far, with Hillary Clinton just leaving this room, many other advancements. But you don't think that it's going to set you back in dating. When did you start to experience that?
When I created my first tech company. So being Mexican-American Latina, there's very few of us that start high.
What the hell is Mexican American Latina? Well, they be putting some titles on themselves, don't they? Let's continue.
High growth tech companies. 1% of all institutional capital goes to Latinas. I'm one of those people.
Wow.
And I don't date men in tech because it's been important for me to be able to say I stood on my own 2 feet and I didn't get to where I was going because some man helped me.
Right. Tamer. This is so interesting with your story. You love traveling. As Renee said, you're living your life. You said that you don't even tell men that you own a home because they're already intimidated, and that would make things more difficult.
I think it's one of those things that it's not likely to come up in our first conversation.
Because it would come up in mine. I'd be like, I own a home in Brooklyn, New York.
But if by the time we're talking about where I went to school or where I've traveled and what I want to do next, if I can tell that someone is intimidated at that point, then it doesn't make sense to then have a conversation about owning a home because that's just one more thing to add to it. It makes more sense to just say we're not aligned at this moment and I'm gonna go to the next one.
You're gonna go to the next one.
Yeah.
So when you saw this article in the New York Times, did you say, I'm not alone? I mean, it's not just about women in big cities. This is across the country you're seeing this. Are we outpacing in the dating, the imbalance? How do you describe it?
I think that there's a sense that we can be outpacing some of the men that are around us, but at the same time, I do have girlfriends who are successful, ambitious, and they have found their men, so there are...
What does that even mean that you're outpacing the men? What do you mean by that? And somebody's gonna have to break that down, but of course she's not. And she even said that she has some successful friends, girlfriends that are happy, that are happy in relationships. So obviously it has to be you. It ain't the men. Because men are pretty much doing the same thing. All they want is a submissive woman. They want a woman that could compliment them, but they don't need all that nonsense because the only thing that a woman is going to do that's quote unquote successful is going to throw it in a man's face, which is basically what she did. She let him know that she traveled. She wanted to let the man know that she's accomplished. Nobody really wants to hear that. Like, no man really wants to hear that. I mean, that's great, but what can you do for me is the question. Let's continue.
There are those people out there who are aligned with us, who do want what we want, but it's where do we find them? We were talking backstage.
Oh.
Where do we actually go? Who are those?
Do you know the whole single
friends?
ears all perked up? Literally, everybody who's single in the audience, I could tell they're like, go on, tell us more. Well, we're going to talk about this imbalance, if it exists, and really how people are navigating through this in the dating world. Our guests are sticking by, and we are going to be joined by a dating and relationship therapist to talk more about this article and the impact of the dating imbalance. A candid conversation on dating when you own and he doesn't. After the break. Welcome back. We're having a candid conversation about what's being called dating imbalance. Joining the conversation is therapist and author of the book Self-Love in Action, Zoe Crook. Please welcome Zoe to our show. Thank you so much for joining this conversation. So for people who might be saying, is the dating imbalance real? Adriana, you told the story in an article in Entrepreneur Magazine, 2013. You had a boyfriend and you shared some very successful news. Rather than being excited, you saw instantly that this was the opposite reaction from him. What happened?
So I went over to his house with a copy of Entrepreneur Magazine. I was surprised to see my big old face on page 6 in a feature. And I was like, look, can you believe that my company is in here and they're naming me Do Good Entrepreneur to Watch? And he looked at it closed it, slammed it down on the desk, and the sound was like my heart breaking. And then he turned to me and said, well, are you gonna be able to be home and cook me dinner when I get home from work?
Okay.
Yeah.
So she also dealt with a successful man. She also dealt with it. She had a boyfriend that I'm sure she said that she went to his house. So he had his own house, maybe a house, apartment, or whatever. So she had a match, probably financially, but she didn't. But because all he wanted was a wife. So again, brothers, these women don't want to be wives. I tell you that all the time. They want the title, but they don't want to be a wife. They don't want the responsibility. So the brother was upset. And I'm sure, and I don't even believe it even went down like that. He went and closed the book, smacked it on the table or whatever, and he just started. And I don't even believe it even went down like that. So some of these women have a very good imagination, like a child. But he probably did ask that question: "Are you gonna be home to be able to cook for me?" And she was like, "Dang, I ain't about to be. I don't want to be a wife." Right. Right, real. I seriously doubt he did that. But he probably did ask that question. Are you going to be home to cook me dinner? Because most men want a wife that's able to do those things. And nowadays, brothers don't even want to even get married anyway. You got brothers that could cook for themselves. They could wash their own clothes and everything else. They don't it's almost to the point where men don't eat. Only thing a man now needs a woman for is just sexual relations. That's it. They don't need them for anything else because men are pretty much doing everything on their own. So now you have to ask the question, what besides sex, what else do we need the woman for? Because half of them don't even want to even love you. Right. They good at storytelling, bruh. They good at storytelling, but let's continue.
Do you still talk to him?
Oh, no.
Okay. Okay. So, for people who say this is just
Damn, look how big that chick is. Golly. Brothers, let me just give out a side note, man. Help our women. Some of these women need some help. She about to bust out of them jeans. She looked like a can of biscuits. When you oh, man, look, that's a big ass chick. And it's always the black women too. Always the biggest ones. My goodness, she over there clapping. What you need to do is go clap them shoes, them feet on a damn treadmill. Let's continue.
just in a woman's head. It's not. It's real.
No, it's real. Yeah, I see it in my practice all the time. There's definitely an imbalance between, successful women and men, but I don't think it's for the reason we think.
What is it then?
Well,
Okay, first of all, what do we think it is?
Well, I think it's important to first define what modern manhood means.
And we've done whole shows on it.
Yeah, so anthropologists use the 3 Ps. They say that men find their manhood from being able to protect, provide, and procreate. So if a man is sitting across from a woman who's already provided for, already protected, and maybe she has kids, doesn't want kids, or at least has the means to do it by herself, that man using that narrative is gonna sit there and think, how do I fit into her life? How do
Right. How do I fit into her life? Or what do I need? Do I really need to be here? You don't need me. Because to be honest with you, a lot of men want to be needed. They want to feel like they're needed. So if they're not needed, then it's time for him to move on. Oh, that's a narrative? Oh, okay. Yeah, right. So but I don't think these other three ladies, quote unquote successful women, are even going to understand that. Because again, all they want is a match. They don't want love. They want a match. That's all they want. Let's continue.
how do I provide? What's my purpose here? So,
Love?
well,
It doesn't start with a P, though, I guess.
Y'all saying love, but y'all didn't say that in the beginning. Not one time did y'all use that word love. Y'all used the word match.
Yeah. So I think that we need to go a little deeper.
Okay.
And because, we're not getting married anymore for the reasons we used to get married. Like,
Right.
I don't need someone's cow. They don't need my
Right.
dowry. Like we're getting married to have a spiritual experience.
Yeah.
I don't even know what a spiritual experience. Everything when it comes out the woman's mouth is an experience. Experience. That's all it is. You're an experiment, brothers. They don't want love. They want to experience. They want to have fun. They want to travel. That's all they want to do. So keep in mind, brothers, if they want to have fun, take them to Chuck E. Cheese, take them to the park, take them to the playground. That's all they want. Let's continue.
So we have to kind of abandon this old narrative and look at where we're not able to connect with ourselves on a deeper level, because that's why we're getting into romantic relationships.
So the three P's are at our core as humans, right? I guess for males.
It's cultural.
Cultural.
It's
cultural.
cultural,
Okay.
yeah.
So what?
Man, she clearly said men, and now you're saying humans. Why do y'all? I don't understand. That's another thing y'all women do. Is y'all make certain things a gender, and then right behind it, y'all don't want to make it gender. So instead, y'all will use humans. And this woman clearly said men. Men want to protect, provide, and procreate. And then you say humans. But y'all didn't say that in the beginning. None of you said that. Y'all used the word match. Right. Universal.
So what? Then how do you counter that? Instinct, I guess, would be.
Yeah.
Why would you want to counter it?
Yeah. Well, I think it's happening. I think it's slowly happening now. Men are going to therapy more. They're working on themselves more. And so are women. Like, women also have to abandon this narrative. Yeah,
they are. But you were saying, but women have to do what?
They also have to rework the narrative. They also have to rework the three Ps, because there's other ways for a man to be a provider and be a protector. It doesn't necessarily need to be from the money he brings in or the house that he has. There's other ways to provide for your partner and emotionally, spiritually.
So you're saying as women, we have to, because I would think the onus would be on the man to understand there are other ways to protect.
What other ways is there to protect? See, and this is the thing. Y'all want men to change. Men are not going to change when it comes to those three things. But y'all men have always been the same. But yet at the same time, y'all want traditional men, but then y'all want to change how y'all want to change, and then we got to get with the program. Y'all make all this money, but yet y'all still want men to provide. It doesn't make any sense. And y'all women are the ones that are losing when it comes to the dating, relationship, and marriage. Y'all are the ones that are losing, because men are still going to get what they want, because if they can't, because all they're going to do is replace you with another woman. That's all they're going to do, because you women have a harder time trying to get into a relationship than a man. A man is going to find a relationship regardless. It don't matter. She could work at McDonald's. She could work at corporate America. It don't matter. A man is going to find a good woman, or he's going to get into a relationship. How long? I can't say. But he's going to find him a woman, even if that means that he has to go outside his race. He's going to find him a woman. So all you women all you quote unquote successful women, y'all are the ones that are struggling, to be honest with you. Not the men. It's the women.
It's culturally, because I also think that women are dating with that narrative, right? It affects all of us. Because if we're dating thinking that a man has to have the three Ps, and then men are thinking that way, right? Like, it affects all of us. So we all have to kind of rework that and welcome something new.
Yeah. When you look at strong women like we have here and in our audience, and what I define by strong, because we all are vulnerable, we all cry, so I don't try to mask myself.
Yeah.
Strength is defined in many ways, but they are people who are moving forward in their lives without a man doing the things that I guess traditionally you would do. how do you not dim your light? I'm going to be 100% honest. This is live TV. I think I was in my, I don't know, 30s, and I was dating someone, and I was exhausted with, quote, failed relationships.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember dimming myself down because
Yeah.
I didn't want, and that was completely unlike me. Hello, I live to shine. And so I found myself doing it. Relationship didn't work. And I, for the first time in my dating life, had a regret.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, once you start on this path, you can't really go back. That's the thing, because then you'll resent the man you're with, you'll resent yourself. And here's the thing, there are men out there who are doing the work and who will admire all of your accomplishments.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what Samir was saying. There are.
Yeah.
So in this modern world, because the ladies were talking about where you find them these days, I'm old enough to remember when it was the club. I'm team go on an app. I have friends who are single. I'm like, if I weren't married, I would be on a dating app. I am team the right one. What do you?
Let me tell you something, brother, about these dating apps. I would tell you to leave them alone because they have made dating apps so difficult for men. And I'm going to be honest with you. I went on at least in the past 2 years, I went on 3 different dating apps. They have it to where now you actually have to pay to message women. You have to pay. Like you have to get some type of premium or some upgrade just to be able to message women. So if a woman likes you, you can't even message them back without upgrading it. So you could go and swipe left, swipe right, like the picture, and hope that you have to actually hope that they message you. Because if they don't message you, you really can't message them. And I'm telling you, in a lot of these other apps is now to where now they can go live and you have to send them gifts. A lot of these apps now are now to the point where you have to send gifts. It's crazy. So these apps are just more for women to get attention. And it's sad because it's more women than men. So you'd think that it would be the other way around, but no. So brothers, they're making it very difficult for you. So I'm just letting you know now, brother, leave these dating apps alone. It's not even worth it. It really isn't. And I will never pay because I remember when it was POF because I remember you used to just you was able to message these women just like that. Now you got to pay. You got to pay. You got to upgrade. It's like premium. But let me go ahead and finish this out.
What do you say? What do you suggest?
I'm all about dating apps. I'm all about going out and putting yourself out there. Like the other thing is, you go up to a man, ask him out, give him your number. They're scared of us. So, like.
I'm not sure where she got that from, but I guess, you know what? I don't know. I guess we are scared of women, according to her. I don't know where she got those stats at, but we're scared of women. But yeah, I keep telling you, brothers, y'all are the prize. Especially you black men. You black men of America, y'all are the prize. Especially you heterosexual black American men. Y'all the prize. Y'all got to hold y'all head high because these women are out here losing. Atlanta, 17 women to 1 man. Dallas, 10. It might be more, but when I saw it, it was 10 to 1. Women are losing, brothers. They're struggling when it comes to dating. They can probably find a sexual partner, but when it comes to them being able to keep that man, yeah, they having a hard time doing that.
Like, don't be nervous. Yeah.
I'm team that too. Yeah. I tell everybody, I said the biggest thing you can do is stop pretending you don't want to be in a relationship. Yes. Don't fall for that because a lot of times people tell you, I'm good by myself. You are good by yourself, but if you want somebody, you better go tell everybody you know. Tell me your single cousin, your friend. Is he nice? Put yourself out there, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I want to keep this conversation going. I deeply admire all of you ladies because at your age, I did not own a house. I did not own a car. So shout out to you for doing it and really showing what the modern woman, as we talk about modern men, look like. Congratulations. Tamer, Renee, Adriana, thank you, Zoe. Your book is amazing. Self-Love in Action is out now.